A new Vanderbilt University study reveals a disturbing disparity in the workplace. Overweight women are more likely to earn less and perform more physically demanding tasks than average-sized women. The job market also penalizes obese women in ways that overweight men seldom experience. Jennifer Chenal is an assistant law professor at Vanderbilt Law School and the author of Why Obese Workers Earn Less: Occupational Sorting and Its Implications for the Legal System. Jennifer, welcome to Arise America. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So we kind of did it in a very broad stroke in this introduction, but just sort of break out, unpack, if you will, the results of the study that you did in terms of how obese women fare differently in the workplace than other women who are not obese, and then talk about how they compare then to men.
Okay, so economists have known for a long time that obese workers, and particularly female obese workers, earn less than non-obese workers, and they're also less likely to be employed. And the big question has been why. So what my study set out to do was to address this question of why. So I looked at two different types of occupations where previous literature suggested that obese workers may perform worse or do worse in the labor market. So the first set of occupations I looked at were physical activity occupations. And the medical literature suggests that to the extent that obesity has a negative impact on your health, it would be most likely to affect your musculoskeletal system. It might have an impact on your ability to do physical activity occupations, occupations that require stamina, occupations that require strength, general physical activity. I also looked at occupations that require a lot of face time, what I call personal interaction occupations, communication occupations. And this arose out of the beauty literature, which suggests that less attractive individuals do worse, are less likely to be hired, don't make as much in personal interaction occupations. And so to the extent that obesity is correlated with attractiveness, I wanted to look and see how obese individuals did in those types of jobs as well. And as I found, there's really no pattern for men. So obese men are no more, no less likely to work in physical activity jobs or personal interaction jobs, but there's very clear trends in the data for women. So as a woman becomes heavier, she becomes more and more likely to work in a physical activity job, but as a woman becomes heavier, conversely, she becomes less and less likely to work in a personal interaction job. Now, the reason that's important is because on average, physical activity jobs pay more, whereas on average, physical activity jobs pay less.
Yes.
Right, exactly. And on average, personal interaction jobs pay more.
Let me jump in there, Jennifer. Tell me a little bit of what the pay differential is for an obese woman as opposed to her non-obese female counterpart.
So we already know from the data that it's very difficult for obese and particularly morbidly obese women to get a personal interaction job in the first place. What my results show is that for the few obese women, for the few morbidly obese women who do get these personal interaction jobs, which are already higher paying, they earn 5% less than a normal weight woman who does exactly the same job. And these results are after controlling for demographics, education, skill level. So even when we control for all of those things, we still see a 5% wage penalty for morbidly obese women in personal interaction occupations.
Wow, that's very discouraging results. Of course, the next conversation is what we do about that, and we unfortunately can't have that conversation right now. But Jennifer Chenal, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.